There's a lot happening in Washington in the next few weeks. As you may have heard, gun control legislation may be considered this week. Immigration reform may also be coming up soon. I'll be posting and sending out materials and updates as things happen. So make sure you check out both my Facebook and Twitter pages throughout the week. This week I signed a letter with Senators Senators Cruz, Senators Lee, and others opposing any legislation that would infringe on the American people's constitutional right to bear arms. This includes your ability to exercise this right without being subjected to government surveillance. On Twitter, Gene tweeted me saying, "Thanks for standing up for our Second Amendment," while Audette of Cheyenne said to vote for gun reform. On Facebook, Clark from Story said, "Stand strong." Patty and Casper noted that the Bill of Rights says that our right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Dick from Jackson asked me where my humanity is. Let me start by saying this. We need your help. When someone says that we need to give up our rights, I hope you'll stand up and say something. Unless you make your voice heard, people are only going to hear one side of the story. These are your rights. Protect them. It's a constitutional right. In Wyoming, guns are a part of our life. They're part of growing up. They're part of the rite of passage. No one supports or will defend violence on the death of children. That's terrible. And one of the things we've got to do as a nation and as parents is to be sure that our kids understand that they're not supposed to kill other people. They're not supposed to kill themselves. And there are a lot of influences out there that are driving people, I think, to doing this. One of the main ones, I think, is the violence that they see every day on television and some of the violent video games. Urban situation is different than the rural situation, and we in Wyoming are rural, and we understand guns, and we understand that there's a responsibility that goes with owning them, and we know that it's our right. It's our right to defend ourselves. It's also our right for shooting for sport. It's our right for hunting. But mostly it's our constitutional right to defend ourselves. And I know how strongly people in Wyoming feel about that, and I'll do everything I can to protect the Second Amendment rights. There are millions of responsible gun owners, and we shouldn't punish them because of the actions of a few criminals. And incidentally, I think that no matter what laws we pass, those criminals are still going to get the guns and do what they intended to do. They just won't go through the process that some 44,000 went through last year. Another constituent issue. Over the last couple of weeks, some of you have continued to ask me about the Marketplace Fairness Act, the so-called online sales tax. On Twitter, John of Buffalo said, "I'm leading the charge on internet sales tax." Brett of Laramie asked me why I want to tax inventions sold on the internet. On Facebook, Ann from Casper asked me to reconsider taxing internet sales. There are a lot of misconceptions about what this bill is, and I'd like to take a moment to express why I believe this bill is needed and why it's in the interest of Wyoming. This is not a tax on the internet. It's not a new tax. No one should tax the internet. I oppose government policies that favor some businesses over other businesses, and that's what we're doing at the present time. Everyone who buys something owes sales tax if they're from Wyoming. If they buy it online and the people don't collect the sales tax, there's actually a form you're supposed to get from the state and fill out and pay the tax. Why do we need sales tax? That's the main source of revenue for cities and towns and counties, and even the state gets a pretty big chunk of that. So this is a states' rights bill. The action is required by the state itself to finalize it. And it does exempt businesses until they have $1 million in sales online in 1 year. The regular sales don't count, just the ones online, but when they hit $1 million, and if the state provides them with a computer program so that they'll know the calculations for taxes all over the United States. So I'd like to thank you for being so engaged and sharing your thoughts and comments with me through social media, through email, through letters. If you have Wyoming friends or family that you think would like to know more about what's going on in Washington, have them follow me on Facebook and Twitter. In closing, I'd like to leave you with 3 principles that guide me and my staff as we work for the people of Wyoming. Do what's right, do your best, treat others as they wish to be treated.